Alright, so Thursday, LeBlanc and Sherritt fly back from Washington, sit down with the Trade Council for 2 hours, and what do we get? Same line Ottawa's been giving us for a year. Some progress made. That's it. That's the update. Even Carney's own words were basically, yeah, still a long way to go. And while our guys are over there making progress, look at what everybody else already locked down. Japan's got a deal. Europe's got a deal. Britain, done. South Korea, done. Every major economy out there found a way to get out from under Trump's tariffs. Except us. We're still standing in the hallway waiting for someone to call our name. And there's this one number in the data Ottawa dropped this month. A number that puts us in a category all by ourselves. Worse off than every other wealthy country on the planet. And when a reporter tried to get Carney to just say it out loud, he turned around and walked off camera. Didn't answer. Now, the people actually feeling this, that's not anyone sitting on Parliament Hill. That's people in Windsor, in Brampton, in Ingersoll, watching the line go dead quiet. Because while Ottawa's up there talking progress, the actual bill already hit your kitchen table. Let's start in Windsor. Stellantis sends home something like 4,500 workers at the assembly plant, and that damage doesn't stop there. It rips right through the parts suppliers too. Flavio Volpe, the guy who runs the Parts Association, says up to 12,000 parts workers got knocked out of work because of it. Then it hits Ingersoll. GM pulls the plug on electric van production at CAMI. 1,200 jobs gone. And when that line does fire back up, maybe 700 of those people actually get their jobs back. Brampton's next. Stellantis puts the whole retooling for the new Jeep Compass on ice. And now 3,000 jobs are just hanging there. And then Oakville. This is the one that should really bother you. Ford didn't pause anything. They packed up the EV work that was supposed to go there and shipped it to a plant in the States instead. Oakville's supposed to limp back online later this year, except now it's building gas trucks, and only about 1,800 jobs come with it. And here's where this stops being a sad list of plant closures and starts being something else. A pattern. Because Carney's government actually built something for exactly this situation. A tariff break. Automakers could keep bringing parts in tariff-free as long as they kept building here. That was the whole deal. Protect the jobs. Except in October, after GM and Stellantis cut Ontario production anyway, Ottawa had to yank that break back. Cut GM's exemption by about a quarter, cut Stellantis's in half. So sit with that for a second. The program that was supposed to save Canadian auto jobs ended up punishing the companies only after the jobs were already gone. Too little, too late. And keep in mind, this is the same country that bailed these companies out back in 2008. We kept them alive, we kept subsidizing them here. And the second it got cheaper to build south of the border, that's exactly what they did. That's the damage you can see with your own eyes, driving past a plant with the lights off. But that's not even the number Ottawa's really hoping you don't put together with everything else. Because what came out in this month's GDP numbers isn't just one industry's struggling, it's something that's true about Canada and not true about a single other country in the G7. Here's the number. 2 straight quarters of the economy shrinking. Down 1% at the end of last year, down again to start this year. 2 quarters of contraction. That's literally the definition economists use for a recession. But of course, there's a softer word ready to go. Technical. Technically a recession. Nothing to worry about. The data's just messy. We're in a settling in period. That's Carney's phrase for it. And when a reporter straight up asked him, "Are we in a recession?" Nothing. He walked away. So forget the label for a second. Look at what it actually means. Poilievre put it in one line, and it lands because it's just simple math. Canada is the only G7 country in a recession. The only one in North America, period. Mexico's got the same border, eats the same tariffs from Trump, and Mexico's not in a recession. Every other wealthy country took the same hit and kept standing. We didn't. That's not me speculating, that's Ottawa's own numbers. And look, I'm not here to just rile you up for no reason. Plenty of economists think the word recession oversells what's happening. The Bank of Canada's Carolyn Rogers told MPs, "Don't put too much weight on one number." BMO's Doug Porter said part of the drop is just a weird spike in gold imports and might get revised away. Fine, fair enough. But notice the trick being played here. Ottawa wants you to relax because maybe the label's too harsh, while everything sitting underneath that label isn't even in question. Exports are down. Business investment's been falling for 5 quarters straight. And by Carney's own admission, his government made deliberate calls, cutting spending, cutting immigration, that helped drag growth right down towards zero. The argument over what to call it, that's the distraction. What it's describing is very real. So what does it actually cost you, being the only economy on this whole continent going backwards? That's the math nobody up on the Hill wants to say out loud. So let's just do it ourselves. Put both halves together. On one side, plants going dark in Windsor, in Oakville, jobs packing up and heading to the States. On the other side, we're the only one of our peers moving backwards, while literally everyone else signed their deals and kept walking. Now think about what that actually does to you. Start with your paycheck. April alone, the economy lost around 18,000 jobs. Unemployment hit a 6-month high. That's not a chart on the news. That's 18,000 kitchen tables in one single month having the "what do we cut" conversation. And it doesn't stop once you've lost the job. Insolvencies are climbing. Food bank visits are up. People who had steady work a year and a half ago are now lining up for groceries. In a G7 country. That's the stuff that never shows up on a layoff notice. Steel shipments to the US dropped something like 60% under those 50% tariffs. That's mills going cold. And whole towns built around those mills going down with them. And here's the part that should really keep you up at night. That $550 billion Japan just committed. That's not a headline. That's real factories, real jobs, real investment pouring into the United States. Every deal we didn't sign is quietly dragging tomorrow's plants across the border. One Oakville at a time. And Ottawa's response to all this? Champagne points at some IMF forecast saying we'll grow faster next year. Sure, but next year doesn't pay this month's rent in Brampton. And there's one more thing coming that hasn't even hit the news yet. That whole North American trade deal comes up for review July 1st, and Canada's walking into that room as the only partner without a deal, in the only economy that's in a recession. Weakest hand, worst possible table. So line it all up. Plants heading south. Deals we're not part of. A number Ottawa wouldn't even say out loud on camera. What you're looking at is a country quietly getting left behind, run by people managing the wording instead of fixing the damage. That's what Carney walking off that camera actually was. Not a busy guy dodging a gotcha question. That was the leader of the only recession-hit G7 country deciding it's safer to argue about an adjective than answer a straight question. Meanwhile, Japan, Europe, Britain, South Korea, they all read the room right and walked out with a deal. We read the same room and walked out with a vocabulary lesson. Here's what's actually on the record. Plain and simple. The plants are real. The 12,000 laid-off parts workers are real. The recession, call it technical, call it whatever you want. It's real enough that we're the only ones stuck in it. And those deals we missed out on? That's real money, building real factories, somewhere that isn't here. None of this is me spinning anything. You don't have to take my word over Ottawa's. These are their own numbers. So next time somebody in a suit tells you the economy's just settling in, remember what's actually settling. It's the dust on an empty factory floor in Oakville. It's your job, built somewhere else now, while your government argues about what to call it. Everybody else got a deal. We got a vocabulary lesson. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.